I have some big plans and I want to try something new, something I've never really done before, and that is actually do mystical agriculture the way that I believe it was intended to be done. I'd be wondering, what does that mean? Well, stacked farms. I'm almost positive that the mystical agriculture, with the way that the upgrades work for it, I'm almost positive it was intended to be done stacked vertically. And so today we're going to be getting vertical farms set up, or a vertical farm area. I already kind of have a template right here laid out. And what this is going to allow me to do is have multiple layers of 9x9 crops set up and farmable. But not only farmable, we can upgrade the entire chunk area that it's in. And that is how we're going to eventually have this all set up. But yes, today we're going to be jumping into mystical agriculture. So at the moment, I'm sort of tasked with clearing this whole area out. So what I have set up is I moved 3 blocks away, really just 1 block away, and I'm 4 blocks away from the center. So this will be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I start, and then this is a 9x9 section, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have another wall placed. And the same thing goes on the sides. And so this should give me enough space to also sort of have this decorated and not just be a plain Jane looking stacked farm. So I've got to get to work getting this all cleared out and getting this thing prepped up, getting some dirt placed for this inevitable farm. And I'm also going to come up with some design for this. So I'm adding some finishing touches by, of course, getting our single plot in for right now. And then, of course, the way this will be stacked will, of course, be vertical. It'll go up. But for right now, we definitely need to start off with our base crop here. So we need to get into mystical agriculture. And, well, we basically have, we have just about everything we need. Because we've had a mob farm going for a little while, we have a ton of essence to play around with. Now, one of the things you're going to need getting started with mystical agriculture is an infusion altar. So back here, I set up a little room for the infusion altar, and I'm going to need infusion pedestals. I'm going to get all of these placed in. Thankfully, it gives you an outline and shows you everything. So once it's complete and ready to go. However, there is one thing that you might want to do to this, and that is just give it a lever that can potentially go underneath it. I would prefer underneath, simply because it is hidden and out of the way. But if you turn this on and give this a redstone signal, it will initiate the craft without you needing to give it a redstone signal to initiate the craft. You're going to find out later, that's probably going to be pretty important, especially when you can use hoppers on these or pipes to feed the items automatically to them. And then you would want this to, of course, activate without needing a redstone signal. So with this set up, let's go ahead and make our first seeds. So now currently I have 5,000 Inferium essence, but Inferium is going to be one of those things that we're going to need a ton of. So I'm thinking about getting this entire crop, as you can see below here, filled with Inferium seeds. Now, thankfully, Inferium seeds can be crafted in a normal method, just with a crafting table. And these also can be put inside of the botany pots, as you can see here. Botany pots is going to be a great way. However, we're going to be using all these mechanics within mystical agriculture to increase the growth speed of these crops and external means as well, if we can potentially get to those things. But the reason why I'm going to do a stack is for the growth accelerators. As you can see, these have a range of 12 blocks. And when it says 12 blocks, it means 12 blocks up from where it's located. And so we can build these down, and it should encompass a pretty large area if we have our farms stacked. So I think this is going to be important to do this. It's going to be one of the first times that I've done it as well. So let's go ahead and get some seeds crafted. Thankfully, we can go ahead and just craft a whole stack. And I don't think a whole stack fills this whole thing. We'll see. But for right now, I'm going to get this all placed in. And we're going to have to talk about something. It's not the fastest thing in the world, right? So these farms are pretty slow, and without any kind of automation, any way to harvest them, you're going to be doing it all by hand early on. But I think at the point where we're at, we should be able to automate the harvesting of these crops. Now, there is one more thing that I should probably go over that I almost missed on this. Now, if you want these Inferium seeds to output more than just one Inferium essence when it grows, the way to do that is to actually upgrade the soil. So I'm pretty sure by default, we can use this, as you can see, to upgrade this to Inferium farmland. It's not going to do a whole lot, but it might give us a little bit of a bonus on our output of the Inferium crops. Of course, every tier up of Inferium essence, or every tier up of essence, will hopefully grant us even more of our crops. Also, we do have some things here. It looks like mystical. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely upgrade once we get our Inferium essence and we get more produce. I'm going to be upgrading all of this. I think by default, I'm actually just going to go through and turn this all into Inferium farmland. Now, before we get to harvesting this and setting it up, let's talk about how to make this actually grow faster, because these, like I said, are just tremendously slow. Of course, we are going to use Mystical itself to help improve this. But there's also other means, I believe. And it is kind of expensive, and this is why you've needed a mob farm kind of early on. But if we get into this, the lily pad from Reliquary, lily pad of fertility, this thing speeds up the growth of crops, and you need some lily pads. You also need some catalyzing glands, rib bones, and slime. So you need to be, your mob farm needs to be killing creepers, ghast, or skeletons, or slime. And then of course you also need green dye. So just to make one of these alone, as you can see, this is going to speed it up a little bit. It does need to be placed on this, but it should help speed up some of the crops. Now, I'm going to be putting in more than just one of these, and I believe this still should work. Unless something was changed and they're like, ah, this is too OP, I'm going to be placing one basically in a circle. So right around here, there's going to be water. And I'm going to be placing as many of these as I can in, while also still maximizing the amount of crops that we have. By the way, if you want to quickly grow some lily pads for this process, lily pads with a water bucket inside of a regular botany pot. Doesn't have to be hopping, and you can just bone mill this. Yeah, to your heart's content. So it does seem to be working. It's not crazy fast or anything. I think, though, it will be a lot faster once we get the blocks required underneath. So let's take a look at the blocks required. So we get 3 of these, which isn't too bad. It does cost some diamond, as you can see. These prosperities do cost diamonds and prosperity shards. You find the prosperity shards underground mining. And it requires a little bit of Inferium, but we should be able to make enough to at least cover the underground 9x9 area. Now for these blocks, it's probably best that we set up an autocraft for them, simply because of the multi-step process that we got to go through to make it. And that way we can specifically know how many we're going to need. And that number is going to be 81 per 9x9 area. So yeah, we're going to have to make sure we make all of the crafts for that. So for example, this, as you can see, multi-step, and then finally this, which should be any stone so long as you don't hit exact. We can toss this in here, and now we can specifically request 81, even though it's going to probably make more. Oh, and it tells us, ooh, we're out of prosperity shards. And I don't know, do we have, okay, we have a couple of ore, but man, we're going to have to come up with a way to get prosperity shards. This might mean bees coming soon, because I don't really see any other way to really generate prosperity shards other than just doing quarry mining. Speaking of quarry, I almost forgot. I do have a few in here that was mined up. I should definitely take all this stuff out of here. So I went ahead and decided to put my quarry that I'd been forgetting about for a while into the mining dimension. And I made sure by hitting F3 and G that it was in a single chunk. And because of this, I literally can just have this one specific chunk loaded, allowing this to work. I'd prefer not to have it over multiple different chunks. So yeah, you can just hit F3 and G to pull up that menu. Very easy to do. Now for this particular thing, I do want to try out the harvester pylons. Now I've used this in the past. I just don't quite remember exactly how these function. But it is going to take the place of this slab that I do have underneath here. Basically, I will place this in, and I wonder if the water is still going to flow out. No, perfect. So it acts as a slab. And what we should be able to do is this should harvest if I can access the block. Once we have this set, I'll put this to a 9x9 working status on, and we need to give it a hoe. Now, I believe just a base hoe, it will take durability. So a regular hoe is not going to be the way to go about doing this. Let's see, it should start to harvest. Don't know how quick it is. That's the thing. I want to either use this or industrial if we're going. Industrial may be faster. Place inventory above. Ah, okay. So I'm going to need a chest above. And this is going to collect the items. Ah, so there it did. It just harvests right there. And all of the items went in here. Oh, including Inferium seeds. That's interesting. So it gave a bunch of seeds. Okay. So with this, I mean, that functions quite well. The only thing is we're going to have to use something special to get the items from this chest into another inventory. Now, because that's taking durability damage, we probably want to switch to another utensil. Mystical Agriculture has us covered yet again on this. So there is a hoe for Mystical Agriculture, and I believe just even the Inferium hoe by itself does not take durability damage. So let's go ahead and get a couple of these, and then we'll worry about the upgrade blocks, because at the moment we don't have enough prosperity. Of course, this is going to be using prosperity as well to get this crafted. So Inferium hoe, we just need a regular diamond hoe. Very simple. And then these two things. So 2 of those and 2 Inferium gemstones. And bam, I believe this is unbreakable. I believe the Mystical Agriculture tools are that way. So I need to hop down here, take this out, and put this in its place. And now it should just harvest. And as you can see, we're building up Inferium and seeds. The seeds, we could reprocess them. Reprocessing them turns them into Inferium essence, which might be the way to go down the line. Now, of course, to show off more of Mystical Agriculture, I think what we should do is craft up a couple of these seeds. Now, these 2 seeds are fantastic in my opinion, especially early on, as it allows you to craft the buckets straight out of your refined storage system. So if you need lava, you can just request a lava bucket. It is fantastic, or a water bucket. However, we are going to need to use our prosperity shards. That's why I'm kind of saving them. I was going to make the upgrades for underneath, but we're going to have to wait till later to do that. And so instead, I'm going to use them for this. So we have our 2 seeds ready to go. This is going to require this agglomeratio, something like that. And I'm going to need 4 of those a piece. And same goes, it's the exact same recipe, by the way, for the lava. So all we have to do is just replace the lava here too, and we'll end up getting the fire agglomeratio as well. So now over here, we actually get to use our platforms. So these don't have to go in any particular order, and they can be hoppered in. So we can do a hopper later on when we go to craft multiple seeds. But for right now, I'm just going to place these in and then place down the Inferium essence, because this one requires that. And then last but not least, prosperity shard right in the middle. And as you can see, it all comes together and crafts. And you can also, by the way, put a hopper underneath this. It'll only hopper out what it actually created, not what you put in. So it will not hopper out the prosperity seed base, which is really, really nice. And let's go ahead and make the fire one. Now, these are all part of the like basic set that just require Inferium essence. Each seed continues to get higher. So like when you go into iron, for example, and make iron seeds, it's going to require higher tier Inferium, which if we take a look at Mystical, we'll be able to see we have Inferium, Prudentium, Trinium, Imperium, and then of course Supremium. And then I believe there's another step even higher than that, which is Insanium, which I believe is in this pack. So yeah, all of that is going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of time, but it's going to be well worth it. And there we go. There's our other seed. I'm just going to add this seed over here, and I'm hoping that it produces potentially more seeds. I don't know how many we're going to need of these, but they'll be nice to have. So right here, I'll put the water. Right here, I'll put the fire. And it should build up the same way. Now, I'm going to need to send this over here. And I was thinking about using an entangled block. However, entangled blocks are incredibly expensive in this. So that is something that we can't get just yet. Let's see. Yeah, entangled blocks require unobtainium. Pretty expensive, but entangled blocks are so nice. What I'm thinking I'm going to do instead is just use ender chests. Yeah, we'll be able to use ender chest and get a drawer network set up here. So in preparation for making the ender chest, I went out to go kill some cows, and I just killed a cow and got everlasting beef, which I not consumed when eaten. It just will last forever. It's just an artifact that like can replace our food sources. What? That's crazy. Yeah, and you definitely take this and you smelt it up, and you will have everlasting steak. I'm interested to see if the backpack recognizes this as a food source and will auto feed me while I get hungry. Because if so, that's going to be pretty cool. So I just realized I may have told you wrong, which I'm so sorry about. I thought this didn't take any durability damage, but as you can see right here, it definitely is. Now, the best thing to do in this, case, probably enchant it. So we're going to enchant this. Now, it's not going to make it unbreakable, but I do believe the Supremium hoe is unbreakable. So eventually, you will not take durability damage out of your hose here from the mod that it comes in, Mystical Agriculture. So I'm going to put some enchants on this. So to set up the drawer system for this to work, I went ahead and made the ender chest. I have them all set to green. And I'm going to be going in here and placing in these framed drawers. I think they look kind of nice. They fit right in with everything else. And these are going to contain all of our Mystical Agriculture goodies. I think right behind one of these walls is where I'm going to do, probably behind this wall here, is where I'm going to do all of the fun stuff with the drawer and the transferring the items. But yeah, even if we stack this and we have multiples up here, all I have to do is just add an ender chest. Everything should go in, and I think I should be able to simply use, let's see, I guess it'd be our first time getting into the nodes. Yeah, getting into Laser IO. Yeah, because Laser IO, I think, is going to be the one thing that is fast enough to keep up with multiple crops being harvested all at once. So yeah, looks like I'm going to have to make a few more framed drawers to fit all of this, but there's just one wall. So I'm in the middle of getting this all done, and I was like, you know what? I'm trying to smelt things and go back and forth, and I was like, how can I make this faster for me to jump over to my smelter from here, like standing in front of my crafting grid? You know what? There's anchors. So I could just use travel anchors, and this is fantastic. We can just break this block here, place a travel anchor here, and I think we can access this to rename it. So RF, refined storage, and then we can lock that. Anchor is now locked. I think that means we cannot change the name of it. And then right here, I can just have us jump straight to this, and we can call this process. And I think that's fine. And then all we gotta do is just, I think, hold shift. I thought we jump while we're on it. No travel anchor found. Maybe we have to unlock it. It says anchor is locked. Right click with a stick to unlock. Interesting. What's the locking mechanism? Maybe we don't lock it. I thought locking maybe locks the name. Right click with a stick. Okay, it's no longer locked. Here I am spending a lot of time doing this, so maybe we can... No travel anchor found. I guess we have to use the wands? I mean, I went ahead and made the travel staff. It's really cheap to make. Okay, I'll just keep the travel staff in my inventory because this is fantastic. I can be all the way over here and jump to our area. This is very nice. So now getting into Laser IO is actually kind of easy. Let me explain here. All we need to do is take items from this ender chest and put it into our storage controller, which is going to be right here in the corner. Now, all of these are drawers. We're going to hook those up here in a second. But it's really simple. We have our Laser IO node that's going to go right here. And all we have to do is access the bottom, which if you see here, we have a down, and just put an item card in the down. And then we also need the up, which is going to be the U. And then we just put an item card in that right? And so you can see the lasers connected here. And just think of this as an item pipe that's just a single block connecting these two things right here. It can get a little bit more complicated when you have networks and stuff, but with a single block, it is really, really nice. And also super fast, which is why I'm using it. So I'd have to say it's probably one of the fastest methods of transferring an item from here to right here. And it's filterable, which means we can also have another side eventually, maybe voiding things like seeds and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and get this actually set up. So the main one that I'm focused on is the down, which is going to be set to extract. So when I set this to extract, this card is going to now look for a insert that is on the network, and this card is set to insert. So it's looking for this up here. And so as soon as I have this drawer controller set up to expel items, to put items in here, it'll start doing so from the items that are inside of this ender chest. Now, to speed this up and to make it go fast and be worth it, on the extract, I'm going to put item overclockers in here. And then I can take this and hold shift and set that transfer amount to 64 and set this, the ticks, 64 per single tick down. And this thing will be so fast. This will be transferring 64 items. So a stack every single tick. That's a pretty fast transfer rate. So I think what I want to do first is lock all of these drawers with my configuration tool. And I could hook them all to the network and then do this just by right clicking the controller. But I don't want to hook up the controller until these are all hooked up because we did this first. So I'm going to get all these hooked in, and then we're going to get this stuff worked in and filtered. So I'm going to place a few of these items in. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and put Inferium Essence. I guess I could put it right here in the middle, or maybe I should wait and have like Inferium going in its own. I think Inferium going here would be fine. In the middle is going to be where I put fertilizer. Now seeds, I'm going to put over here for right now. But seeds are probably going to end up going into a void drawer setup down the road. For right now, this is fine going in here. Of course, we can always replace these drawers. And I'll put the fire one right here. And then for the main essence, this is going to be the start of where all of our essence is just stored. And so this should work. Let's go ahead and get our drawer hooked up. So I'm going to shift right click here. And then I think you can change the mode here. So this is mode to multiple, single, multiple. I think multiple allows you to stretch this. And as you can see, we can add multiples, making it a little bit easier to add all of our drawers. A little bit faster. So now everything is all hooked in, and we should notice that our ender chest is completely empty because it is already simply just transferred all of the essence into the drawers. So the last thing I was like, you know what? What actually would be an unbreakable tool? Because I know what's in here is definitely not an unbreakable tool. And we definitely need an unbreakable tool in here. So for right now, I think all the modium is going to be the way to go. Because those tools are definitely unbreakable. So we'll make an all the modium hoe. I do have just enough. Let's do a hammer because I know this is going to work. We need 2 of those. And then I can type this, which is the button that's usually underneath your backspace. And then I should be able to search hoe along with the hammer here. And as you can see, it does show all the items and hammers. This will make it a little easier for me to search specifically for these items and pull them in. As you can see, there we go. And there's the rod and there's the hoe. Perfect. And I'll just basically put this in instead of this, and I won't have to worry about durability ever again. Because it's indestructible. And well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I mean, we covered a lot of stuff today. I mean, there was a lot of stuff I went over, a lot of stuff I got done. I'm super happy with the way this build is going to look. Can't wait to get the windows in. Of course, get more of this set up. Of course, the stone here is actually going to be the frame for where we take this higher. I might actually have to make this, of course, build higher, but it does look like one of the central castle builds. I mean, which this is probably going to be one of the best ways to generate resources outside of bees, honestly. So, with that, I think it's time to thank the supporter of today's video. And of course, that, my friends, is going to be a huge thanks. If I can spell things. I always fail here. Thanks going to Robin. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member. And of course, guys, if you're interested in joining the Discord and or checking me out over on Twitch, you can follow me over on Discord at discord.gg/ChosenArchitect. And yeah, just check it out. We have an amazing community of over 25,000 members at the time of this recording, and it only grows every single day. So guys, I'd really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Click that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and of course, comment something down below that you enjoyed or maybe learned, or something that you would like to teach me, because I would love to learn as well. Let me know down in the comments below, and of course, I'll see you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.